Long, long ago, in the year 2007 AD, the great Roblox administrator Telamon set the people of Robloxia a challenge. The task Telamon gave his people sounded simple. They were to build a domino rally place. A domino rally, for those unaware, is a chain of dominoes stacked on their ends in a line like this. When one domino falls, it hits the next one, which hits the next one, which hits the next one, causing each one to fall in rapid succession. To enter this contest was simple. All one had to do was create an account whose name began with DRBC and whose place had DRBC in its title. However, putting a creative enough spin on the domino rally concept to stand out as a victor would prove to be easier said than done. What's more, the challenge would not be judged by Telamon, but instead by the populace. A score for each place entered in the contest would be generated by adding 2 times the place's number of unique visitors to the place's number of total visitors. The 9 highest scoring places would be the victors, and they, along with the creators of the top 4 most viewed YouTube videos about the contest, were awarded what would come to be one of, if not the most important and influential limited accessories in Roblox history, the Domino Crown, a glistening gold nonagonal ring with 3 golden dominoes standing proudly atop it. This crown has captivated the people of Robloxia ever since its creation. Its extreme rarity, coupled with its insanely high trading value, has sparked a myriad of controversies and conflicts over the years surrounding it. The crowns have traded hands many a time, even those belonging to Robloxians who didn't willingly give them away. In fact, it is now to the point where not a single original Domino Crown is in the hands of the person who originally won it. For this video, I attempted to catalog exactly how we got to this point. I spent ages, by which I mean 1 work week, scrubbing through old forum posts, trawling through the Rolimon's Discord server, scraping archive.org, and much, much more, all to determine as accurately as possible the paths that these original crowns have taken over the years, and in doing so, finally tell the complete history of the Roblox Domino Crown. Was I successful? Not entirely, but what I did unearth is very, very interesting. Let us begin this story at the bottom of the stack, with the contest's 9th place winner, Gamer3D. His place, Dropout, made the cut for victory by the skin of its teeth, with a score of 405. It's quite bare bones, featuring nothing but an extremely simple domino rally on a bridge, a curved domino rally, and 2 pairs of dominoes standing alone. Judging by its title and its unfinished looking state, it's thought that Gamer3D gave up on this place partway through making it, but because of his relative popularity at the time, he still managed to eke out a victory. He kept hold of his crown until 2012, when it was bought off him by Intercoding, who then sold it to famous trader R200, who traded it to Lando64000, yes, the same Lando64000 that made Loomian Legacy, and then it was bought by Verse, the Speedrun 4 developer. Verse liked the crown, and decided to incorporate it into his avatar as part of his signature look, along with Dominus Frigidus. And there, it seemed that this crown had found its permanent, final resting place. But on June 24th, 2022, a mysterious hooded figure stepped foot into the Roblox catalog. He pulled back his cloak. It was Mr. Maggot216, the developer of the 1.6 billion visit game Ragdoll Engine, and as a result of this game's immense success, he was laden with Robux. Rumors put his bank account at well over 500 million, but in this moment, he didn't carry himself like a millionaire. He had a crazed look in his eye. Everyone who looked at him could immediately tell that something wasn't right. And then, he stepped up to the counter and spent almost every last bit of his wealth on limiteds. Dominus Empyreus, Dominus Astra, Eerie Pumpkinhead, several different Sparkle Time Fedoras, and among these purchases, a Domino Crown. Versus Domino Crown. He bought it for 40 million Robux. To this day, Mr. Maggot's spending spree is the largest amount of Robux spent on limiteds all at once by far, and the largest amount of Robux spent on the Domino Crown. Estimates put his total amount spent at well over 500 million, and with that amount of Robux alone, he could have been a millionaire in real life. But sadly, the truth would later come out that the reason why he did this was because Roblox rejected his DevX application, meaning that wasn't an option for him. So he did the next best thing. He bought a bunch of limiteds and then sold them for real money on the black market. Notorious black market buyer and trader 44Change, more commonly known by the alias Font, bought the Domino for real money on July 3rd, 2023. It was then traded to the once popular furry YouTuber Narpy Paws, with whom it remains to this day, though Narpy doesn't often wear it. 8th place was awarded to Rblx.trade, who managed to achieve a score of 412 with his place, DRBC Rblx.trade's super cool Domino Rally. It's a noticeable step up from Gamer3D's place, containing a lengthy domino rally with several moving parts and special effects, such as this red domino falling into a glass of water, these 2 rockets launching off, and this colorful tower of dominoes that fall upward. It also remains almost completely working to this day, the only hiccup points usually being the parts where balls are meant to hit things to move the rally along. In my opinion, Rblx deserved a much higher score for this build. As for his Domino Crown, he held onto it for 6 years, until it was obtained by Voxidus in June of 2013. It's suspected that he broke into Rblx's account and stole it, but no one knows for sure. What we do know is that in July of 2013, Voxidus was terminated, with the Domino Crown still on his account. There the crown sat in deletion hell for 8 cold, dark years, until September of 2021 when it mysteriously disappeared off Voxidus's corpse and was sent to popular UGC creator Monkry's ghost. See, up until 2021, Monkry's had been the owner of another Domino Crown. It was one of the ones spawned into existence later than the original ones, which I'm not covering in this video because then it'd be like 3 hours long. However, in 2021, Monkry's got hacked. When Roblox found out, they terminated Bye-Bye, but inexplicably, instead of returning Monkry's his Domino Crown from that account, they instead pulled the long-deleted crown off of Voxidus and used it to replace Monkry's stolen one. So, now Rblx.trade's crown is safe and sound with Monkry's ghost, but it's unknown what happened to Monkry's original crown. 7th place was won by a collaborative effort by users JacobXXDuel, now known as Reverse Polarity, and Koopa, called DRBC Ultimate Domino, which received a score of 417. While it's clearly much higher effort and more visually impressive than Rblx.trade's, I personally don't find it as fun because it forces you to remain contained in small little observation boxes, and you can't actually go outside and get up close and personal with the dominoes. Also, the rally starts automatically when you join the game. You don't get the fun of pushing over the dominoes yourself, and there aren't as many cool Easter eggs and special effects. But there's a lot more dominoes, and almost every part of the rally works consistently, except for a few fringe parts towards the end, so I'll give them that. It was decided that Jacob would be the one to get the crown, since Koopa actually got a crown of his own from the video part of the contest. Jacob sold his crown almost immediately after it went limited, in October of 2009, which was a pretty bad move actually, to Django136. He kept hold of it all the way until 2022, when he was compromised and his DC went to this throwaway account. But it was restored to his account shortly thereafter, and there it remains to this day. Or at least that would be the case if the single most insane coincidence I've ever witnessed in my life hadn't happened. Literally as I was researching for this part of the video, Django got compromised again. Here's what happened. Around 3 PM of December 28th, 2023, I was looking at Django136's account to confirm that he still owned his Domino Crown, which he did. It was on his avatar. I also noticed that he hadn't been online for 5 months, and his description specifically said that he was not accepting offers on his Domino Crown. Then, a few hours later, I checked back on his account just to confirm something, and he wasn't wearing the crown anymore. His description was changed to VR, and he was last online 9 minutes ago. I took a look at his friends list to see if maybe whoever did this had left a calling card, and I noticed someone interesting. This Severals person was wearing a Domino Crown, and I hadn't seen their name in the past 5 days of research I'd been doing. They had a private inventory, but it was scanned less than a week before, and they didn't have the domino then. I wonder who they got it from. Rumor has it that Severals isn't actually the person who hacked Django, but instead just the person who bought the Domino Crown off the hacker. Another big item of Django's, Admiral of the Royal Skyfleet, went to a different account entirely, which supports that theory. So, for now, that's where Jacob's former crown is. Hopefully it gets rightfully returned to Django again soon, and whoever hacked him is put to justice. 6th place went to Condur, who scored 442 points with his place, DRBC 44's Domino Rally. In it, the Domino Rally is meant to end with the final domino falling onto a bomb launcher which blows up the support beam in front of it, toppling the giant sci-fi castle above it. Which sounds super cool, but it unfortunately was updated 7 years ago and doesn't work anymore. But luckily, the place is uncopy locked, so I was able to download the earliest version of it and run it in the 2007 client through Novatus, and it doesn't work there either. I don't think it ever did work actually, but hey, at least it still looks cool, and it won him the Domino Crown. Or at least I think it did. I wouldn't know, because Condor never claimed the crown on his Condor account. Imagine being so preoccupied that you forget to claim a 13 in existence prize that will one day come to be worth $63,000 in real money. That's next level ADHD right there. In 5th place came Waffle Boy, who netted a score of 535 with his place Domino Madness. He warned in his description that, quote, half the time it'll fail because it's based on luck. I personally wasn't able to get a single 100% successful run. It tended to almost never work at this part where the domino gets fired upward and at this red line right here. But all the cool special effects like this car blasting forward, the firework firing, and the lighting changing whenever a chain reached its end were still working and were pretty cool to see. I also appreciated the inclusion of a working reset command via the chat. Very convenient. Waffle Boy kept hold of his Domino Crown all the way up until 2016. It's unclear whether this was the real Waffle Boy, considering that nowadays the account is very obviously stolen. All we do know is that in 2016, it was traded for by a guy called Withs, also known as iJava. Withs then traded it to King Andrew K. King Andrew K traded it to Sorrow Skills. Sorrow Skills traded it to Games Page, and Games Page traded it back to Withs. But then, Withs made a fateful mistake. For reasons unknown, he wanted to have someone hold on to his Domino Crown on a different account, so he gave it to his friend Teeter, better known as Derek. At the same time, an imposter struck. Someone had compiled a suspicious amount of information about Withs, and this was their chance to use it. The imposter convinced Teeter that he was Withs, told him that everything was good, and got him to send the crown to his account instead of its rightful owners. From there, the imposter traded the crown to Flonk28 in a fair trade, and at that point, it was out of With's hands. Roblox doesn't roll back trades unless they have solid evidence of the person requesting the rollback being hacked, and since every trade made in this situation was technically legitimate, that wouldn't be possible. Flonk would end up trading the crown to someone known as Tissue, and then it was stolen from Tissue by the infamous scammer and account hacker Alex Crowns. Alex Crowns was terminated just a little while later, and it's unknown whether he managed to trade off the crown before that happened. In general, there's a significant gap in trading documentation for pretty much all of 2018 and much of 2017. This is because, at the end of 2017, the Let's Make a Deal Roblox forum, where the majority of Roblox trading was discussed and documented, was shut down, along with the rest of the Roblox forums, and throughout 2017, its community was rapidly overexpanding and simultaneously devolving into a cesspit of toxicity and disorganization. In 2019, the Rolimon's Discord server found its footing, and trades started to be consistently documented on there. But 2017 to 2018 was a sort of mini-apocalypse period for the trading community. A trading dark age, if you will. I could make a whole video about that period and the fall of Rblx.rocks, in fact, but I'm not sure I'm quite ready to subject myself to that level of insanity for a video yet. The point is that it's very hard to track limiteds through that period, and many Domino Crown copies had their trails go cold simply because they continued to be traded during this dark age. Waffle Boys was one of them. In 4th place came Myked, who I've talked about on this channel before. He created Ultimate Paintball, which was the single most popular place on Roblox during its earliest years, and he was also generally a very popular and respected figure in the community. Always down to talk with fellow Robloxians on the forums and help find bugs. Being the most popular developer at the time, though, there was no way he wouldn't take home a prize in this contest. His place, Domino Spiral Plaza, achieved a score of 690, nice, even though he was apparently busy at the time and didn't put in his all. It was even featured as an example picture in the blog post announcing the winners. And I've gotta say, for a rush job, especially in 2007 when trying to make anything at all was a literal nightmare, this was actually really great. Players sit in an automated floating cart of sorts that floats upward through the center of a staircase tower as dominoes on each stair step hit each other upwards until the domino at the very top falls down. It looks very cool and polished, as long as it doesn't clog itself at the start, which happens about 50% of the time. The one thing is, probably as a result of changes in Roblox physics over the years, when the cart reaches the top and the rally automatically restarts, it doesn't get inside the gray containment box in time, meaning forever after the first run, you travel up the outside of the tower instead of through it, which doesn't look as cool. As for Myked's crown, if you know Myked, you know that that thing stayed on his head until his dying day, when a thief broke into his account and attempted to pawn his crown off to Linkmon99. The thief was unsuccessful, however, and just ended up getting Myked deleted, and his crown along with him. Now we get to the big ones. The top 3 highest scoring places made for the Domino Rally Building Contest. The best of the best. 3rd place was taken by PC Wiener, now known as Comrade Microwave, but since he's very clearly PG'd and that wasn't a name he chose for himself, I'll keep referring to him as PC Wiener. His place, DRBC Domino Race, scored a very impressive 853, but unfortunately it seems that at some point it was deleted out of existence and replaced with a blank base plate. However, I'm fairly certain that the place was archived in this video made for the video part of the contest. PC Wiener's Domino account is in the leaderboard here, and the rally starts with giant hammers, which are mentioned in the place's description. We don't get to see it in action in this video, but it certainly looks very cool. PC Wiener sold his Domino Crown to Dark U Dog in September of 2011, just before he seemingly retired from Roblox. It was apparently Dog's dream hat, but just a couple of weeks later, he sold it to the Gamer101 on an alt account for around 1.5 million Robux. From there, it was purchased by Dr. Roblo for 2.2 million, then he got hacked, and the hacker sold it to for just around 200k, and for some reason this never got rolled back. At one point, No claimed he was quitting and he'd be giving away the crown to random Cow Goes Moo, which he actually did, but it turned out to be a troll and Cow gave it back shortly thereafter. But then he actually did quit and ended up selling the crown for real money to Omagurd. From there it went to Parliament, then Linkmon99, then GPR3, then back to Linkmon99, and at this point Linkmon owned too many Domino Crowns at once and this one became impossible to track. The Domino Crown awarded to the DRBC's 2nd place winner, Stealth Pilot, is a mysterious one indeed. No records of Stealth Pilot's Domino Rally exist anywhere on the internet except for the one picture in the winner's blog announcing him as a winner. It shows that his place was called Medieval Madness and it achieved a score of 1,215, but nothing else. The place is still up on Roblox, but it's been made private, copy-locked, and had its name and likely its contents completely changed. And because DRBC Pilot is now terminated, we'll likely never ever get to see it. After the April Fool's 2012 hacking incident, which the real Stealth Pilot had no part in, Stealth Pilot was terminated, and remained that way until 2018, when his account was suddenly and mysteriously reinstated. After that, it would go on to see sporadic use, and in July of 2023, the Domino Crown mysteriously disappeared off of the account. No other limiteds went away, despite the fact that he owned and still owns items worth millions of Robux, like Eerie Pumpkinhead and Cleosaphaton. Maybe one day soon it'll turn up again, but for now, its whereabouts are unknown. Finally, we arrive at first prize, the most popular Domino Rally of the entire contest, the Domino Rally to best all other Domino Rallies. Which Robloxian received such an honor? R92, one of the most prominent figures in the 2007 Roblox community. He made extremely popular games such as Camping Simulator and Row War Mine Coaster, and he was actually one of the first relatively popular Roblox YouTube influencers ever, uploading videos to a channel called Studio R. Likely due in part at least to this fame, he managed to achieve ultimate victory in this contest, with his place, Domino of Roblox, receiving a score of 1,316, and it features some now broken skeleton morphs and a Domino Rally in the shape of the classic Roblox logo. That works rarely. Yeah, I'm sure pre-existing fame didn't matter for this win in the slightest. R92 kept hold of his crown long after it went limited. It was his signature hat, and it was special since it was first prize. Even though he could have gotten millions of Robux for it, he wasn't letting go of it. That was until January of 2015, nearly 8 years after he first got it, when he was unfortunately hacked, as many 2007 accounts are, and his crown was sold for real money to none other than Luigi0204. If there's one thing I learned while making this video, it's that there are reasons why no one's ever tried to catalog the progression of all the different copies of rare Roblox Limiteds throughout history. For one thing, no one probably cares enough, and for another thing, there are certain obstacles that make it next to impossible to do. One of these being what I've dubbed the wealth nexuses. Roblox's richest players are terrifying beasts. To get as rich as some of these people are without being a game dev artist or admin, you kind of need to do some not so TOS friendly things, and as a result, you're at greater risk of termination. So, it's quite common for traders to own and operate several different premium alternate accounts to spread all their highest value limiteds across. If one gets terminated, no big deal, most of their wealth is still intact. But because the trader is constantly having their limiteds change hands across their vast nexus of alt accounts, it quickly becomes next to impossible to determine who owned what at what point in time. And if the limited you're trying to track doesn't have a serial number, which the Domino Crown doesn't, the trail gets cold quite quickly. One of the biggest of these, and most detrimental to my investigation, was the Luigi Nexus. The Luigi Nexus was a vast array of alts owned by Luigi0204, one of the wealthiest and most notorious traders on the platform at his heyday. Like, this guy was on Linkmon 99's level at a certain point. He owned several different Domino Crowns over a very short period of time from around 2013 to 2015. Some were deleted, some were traded away, and they were all spread out over his many alt accounts. As a result, once the Domino Crown passed into the Luigi Nexus, it became almost impossible to track. But R92 wasn't giving up without a fight. So, he sent Roblox an appeal, explaining exactly what happened and asking them to roll back the trade. And just as quickly as the Luigi Nexus claimed the crown, it was handed back to R92 by the admins. And then, they IP banned Luigi. Every single one of Luigi's accounts, including Luigi0204 and all of his alts, were terminated at once. R92 defeated the Luigi Nexus. This was something that the LMAD forums would talk about for many months to come, which is practically centuries in internet time. One might be tempted to feel quite bad for Luigi in this situation, especially considering that Domino Crown likely cost him a couple $1,000s, but I'd advise against that because he's also thought to be incredibly rich in real life. Rumors at the time placed the amount he'd spent on limiteds alone at over $30,000, which he probably got from his parents considering he was just a kid at the time. So if I had to speculate, I'd probably say he didn't get hit too hard by this whole ordeal. So, now R92 had his Domino Crown back. Happy ending, right? Well, not exactly. At the end of 2016, R got hacked again, and his Domino Crown was traded to Lomo the Hoarder. Lomo then traded it to I Hate iTunes, and when Roblox eventually found out about this, instead of returning the crown to R, they just terminated I Hate iTunes with the Domino Crown in his hands. There, in deleted account hell, the Domino Crown sat, until 2020, when an incident happened that I still actually don't have a great grasp on myself. It had something to do with the user YCap duping limited items. For those of you who don't know, to dupe an item means to perform a glitch on the Roblox website that causes 2 copies of a limited item to be created from 1. It creates a duplicate copy. The person who explained the incident to me couldn't really explain any of the details. All we know is that somehow, some way, the Domino Crown was taken off I Hate iTunes' corpse and used for duping purposes. From YCap, it was traded on a throwaway account called Repeat Strat to IDC GTS, got passed around a few times between the accounts Traumatizing, Dialstar67, and Scared to Love, was sent to this throwaway account for a bit, then got traded to Suvento, then this throwaway account, and only then was it finally laid to rest for good. Lockvert Likes Domino was deleted, and the Domino Crown was sent to Bad Decisions, a Roblox-owned account for storing terminated limiteds. For some reason, just before I started writing this script, its ownership was changed again, but hopefully this means that it was either permanently deleted or just sent to a different Roblox-owned storage account. That Domino Crown has suffered enough, and it deserves to finally be at peace. Of course, that wasn't the end of the contest. There was also the competition to see who could make the best YouTube video featuring a Domino Rally Roblox place. Unfortunately, this part of the competition isn't nearly as well archived as the actual building contest part. The 3rd and 4th place videos, Stealth Pilot's The Domino Effect and Nintendo Boy's Roblox Domino Rally, are both completely lost to time as a result of both of the YouTube channels they were posted under getting deleted, with no internet archive snapshots of either of them. Stealth Pilot didn't get a second Domino Crown for this win, obviously, but we can still talk about the one that Nintendo Boy did get. In fact, Nintendo Boy's Domino Crown is actually very interesting because it was the catalyst for one of the biggest Roblox dramas of 2012. Like, if channels like Parlo and Chiseled had been around in 2012, they'd have been all over this. On the evening of February 5th, 2012, Nintendo Boy came online. This wasn't too out of the ordinary. He was still semi-active on Roblox at the time. But what was weird was that he changed his About Me to finally achieved the best hat in Roblox, thanks to Must Yoshi. And then, out of nowhere, he put the Domino Crown that he had owned for 5 years by that point up for sale for 70,000 Robux. This was a huge deal. Even before 2012, the Domino Crown was worth well over 1 million Robux, and the person who sniped it for such a low price was none other than Merely, the famous creator of Trade Hangout and owner of practically every obtainable limited on Roblox. After this happened, the person behind Nintendo Boy went berserk. he confessed that he wasn't actually Must Yoshi, but instead a user called Osiris who had tried to frame Must Yoshi, and then he started trying to defame Merely. First, he tried to spread the rumor that Merely was a botter that had used a bot to snipe the Domino Crown, which would have been against Roblox TOS. Then, when that didn't work, he tried pretending to be the real Nintendo boy who, finally having gotten his account back, was now accusing Merely of slipping him a keylogging program and being the real hacker of his account. The community saw through this too, however, and eventually the truth of what happened came out. As it turned out, Osiris had been working in tandem with Feedy, aka McNoobster, a well-known and formerly well-respected member of the Roblox community. Their plan was to break into the account, transfer all the Robux on it via t-shirts, which they successfully did, and transfer the limiteds on it by selling them to Feedy for insanely low prices. They didn't think anyone rich enough to snipe them would notice the prices before Feedy could purchase them, but via bots or not, Merely did. And once that happened, Osiris rage quit and called off the operation. All of this sounds fairly simple in hindsight, but when it was going on, there was complete and utter chaos surrounding the issue. Accusations and rumors were flying every which way, and every day it seemed like a new name would get attached to the incident. The entire case actually took me several hours to piece together, just because it was so hard to find any legitimate posts telling what actually happened buried underneath all the Reddit vigilante private investigator nonsense. Even years after it happened, Merely kept getting accused of botting by some, and it created a real lasting hatred between him and Feedy. Also, Osiris is a senior software developer at Roblox now for some reason. Fleskhjerta took home second place in the video contest. His video features him and a fan, Darkzoa, toppling over dominoes in Telamon's example domino rally place. It has an unregistered Hypercam 2 logo in the corner, it's full of Mario and Scatman references, and it uses the R-slur. Everything you could ask for in a banger 2007 comedy video. Believe it or not, Fleskhjerta was considered to be one of the best Roblox-centric YouTubers of his time. He was basically the Flamingo of the late 2000s. But unfortunately, that period of his channel was short-lived, because just like half of all Roblox YouTubers seem to, he fell into controversy. In October of 2008, the Roblox admins discovered that Flesk had uploaded a model to the Roblox platform. A model so heinous, so terrible, so twisted, that showing just a smidge of it in this video will likely get my entire channel demonetized forever. But you know what? I'm a man of the people, and you people deserve to know the truth about your heroes, no matter how hard it is to look at. So, for the squeamish out there, a content warning, because I'm about to show you the ungodly, gut-wrenching, downright evil thing this man uploaded to get him banned off of 2008 Roblox. In 3, 2, 1... You monster. Even I can hardly bear to look at this image. Thankfully, we can rest easy knowing that he and his infernal Domino Crown are banished off this platform forevermore. And finally, it's time to talk about the final copy of the crown. The first place winner of the video contest and the recipient of the final Domino Crown was Koopa. Aided by his friend Vulcan, he created a video called Demolition Dominoes, and it featured no slurs, no outdated references, just an epic montage of all the awesome domino rally places that were created as a result of this contest. Jacob XX Duels, Rox 25s, Mites, even PC Wieners, making it the only source we have today as to what PC Wiener's domino rally looked like. And what happened to Koopa's crown? Well, it stayed with Koopa for a few years until mid-2013, when it was bought by that famous R92 copycat trader I mentioned earlier, R200. Yep, that's right, he owned 2 domino crowns at one point, but the one I mentioned earlier was the only one he traded away. He held on to Koopa's, and still owns and wears it to this day. The story of the Domino Crowns of Robloxia is a long, winding, incredibly hard-to-trace mess spanning over 16 years at this point and riddled with plot holes, uncertainties, and dead ends. But in my opinion, at least, what we do know about it is still pretty interesting and important to Roblox history. With how high valued the Domino Crown is, it's practically synonymous with importance, respect, big things. When something as highly valued as a Domino Crown changes hands, it's not for no reason. Something important is happening there. Remember, I only talked about the original Domino Crowns in this video. The amount of crowns in existence has more than doubled over the years due to events that I could spend hours talking about. I didn't even mention the real-life wooden domino someone created, the Domino Crown that a kid got as part of his Make-A-Wish visit, the 2 Domino Crowns that were spawned into a kid's account just because his dad was friends with some Roblox admins, and much, much more. The Domino Crown may be just a worthless mass of ones and zeros to the uninformed, an NFT for kids, an ugly, goofy-looking mess that never would have gotten as popular as it did if not for its rarity. But to those who know its full story, or at least as full as one can know, it's more than that. It's a marker of 16 long years of wild, turbulent history, and I just hope it's a history that you enjoyed hearing. Thanks for watching.